Hello guys and welcome. Today we'll watch this video by Thomas Rush. So get to and definitely go out and check his channel.
Okay, so you want to make your first indie game, and more importantly, you want to make some money from it, right? Imagine making a game and releasing it, and I'm sure you've thought about this, and you get that $20,000 payout from Steam, right? Or maybe you get it from your publisher, and it's in your personal checking account. It seems like...
It might seem like a dream, but in fact, many people have done it, and many people could achieve that. What you need to do is making a very good pre-production, maybe a vertical cut. Go and submit this vertical cut, which should be amazing, which is like polished, amazing game mechanics. Not too much of a weird idea. I know many people like mixing genres or making something like never ever been designed, but this is not really necessary. You just need to make something solid and then submitting it to publishers. Narrative design, good narrative design always helps. Of course, and it would make your world building, your art, everything would be boosted, which many people neglect, unfortunately. From my experience, many of the indie games neglect narrative design and making cool stories or cool world building and character building and character development, and this is very shown if your GDD does not contain this stuff, and the tagline looked maybe somewhat a bit off. The thing is, you submit to publishers, you get sometimes a production salaries, so like you can produce the full game and be paid like you pay for assets if you have many developers, or paying your own salary for yourself. And then after all of that, you can go publish the game. Some publishers, according to your deal, could either use the marketing budget you've put in the deal, or they do their own marketing and take the budget and they control it and stuff like that. It's complicated with many details, but they could help you reach more customers from the name publishing company. They will market your game, contact sometimes, or teach you how to do that, to contact people who write article about games, maybe even if it's a big publisher, contact even IGN and stuff like that to review your game, and contact YouTubers to try it out. So then it's just up to how good your game is to see the results.
This fantasy, this fairy tale, but it's real. I've actually done this, and a lot of indies have done this. So how exactly do you do this? Well, you've got to stand out. There's thousands of indie games out there, and you need to make something unique.
I don't agree with this. Making something unique might seem like a very exciting idea, but making something solid is way easier in production. Could make a very great game if you know really how to make it. You do not really need to invent everything from the start. It's less problematic, less bugs, more compatibility, more accessibility options for you, less production time, more control over narrative design, and many other cons, and maybe also pros, to be honest, but that I cannot mention all in details now. But yeah, these are my opinion about unique. It should be solid, not unique.
You need to make something brand new, right? Wrong. This is completely wrong. You don't need to make something brand new. Instead, you need to make something, well, it's a lot simpler than you think. If you're looking to make your first indie game, I can tell you that this video will probably save you a ton of heartache and wasted time. Don't do what I did. Instead, do what I'm about to say.
Of course, learn from people, especially like Thomas Rush. He's been in the industry for decades. Right now, it's maybe one or even more decade. It's people who've done it from the start. Because, by the way, game industry is very early industry, comparing it to other industries like medicine and stuff like that. Game industry is just from 80s to 90s. It started in development that and stuff like this. So because it's an early development, the people that worked from the start faced the most problems, by the way, faced the most struggles. So their experience is very valuable because Dodging these mistakes would save you the time that they wasted on it, which means you can achieve as more or even equal to them just by the same or less amount of time. So that's an important thing. So always learn stuff from people like Thomas who've been for a long time in the industry.
Because I have a few gray hairs from what I'm about to tell you. And by the way, if you're dreaming of making indie games full time, I have a course that shows you exactly what I've done to build a six-figure game studio. It's called Full-Time Game Dev, and it's 50% off for the summer sale for a limited time with just 100 seats available. From building a game studio in your bedroom, landing publisher deals with just a demo, getting funded on Kickstarter, building a game from scratch in Unity, Godot, or Unreal, and hitting the Steam front page, this course has everything you need to pursue your indie game dream. You also get my 2D art, 3D art, and YouTube programs.
Yeah, I guess his 2D art is one of the best things. By the way, if you saw the games in the side, they are his games. He have a very unique style in making art in Adobe Photoshop. So that might be interesting, by the way.
Free, but only for this short summer sale. This is my biggest sale so far this year, so click the link below to be one of the 100 students to join the program. All right, story time. I haven't released a commercial game.
Like, see, oh, that's amazing, and it's unique. That's the thing about it. He did not use outline, which really improved the art style. The self-made shadow mixed with Unity 2D light, like this shadow is self-made, but because it's mixed with the bloom and Unity own 2D light calculation, it looks way better. The volume distribution, I don't know if he is much of an artist than or a game designer than a programmer, but this is very solid art. I might add on this a better level design and narrative design. But to be honest, this is still solid even for commercial game productions. So yeah, this looks nice. So if you have a 2D course, you might really need to check that out.
Since my second game, Neversong. That game did really well on Apple Arcade and also did pretty decent on Steam. It wasn't gangbusters by any means, but oddly it was my most profitable game and my family was certainly able to build some wealth from it. Okay, so there was no plan for that game. I just made it because I wanted to. And like clockwork,
it's okay, you can make a plan, which would always help. Again, everything you do in pre-production will just boost production and make it less of a help to you. So always do your pre-production right. Do your plan. It's an important thing. I know passion wants to make you jump start in production, but pre-production is as important as production.
Printed money for me and my publisher, Serenity Forge. After that, I began working on my next game. Oh boy. Just saying that makes my skin crawl. Let me explain. It was supposed to be groundbreaking. My plan was to somehow surpass my previous success with Neversong and Pinstripe, and my assumption was I needed to create something totally unique to do that. So I got to work on this fresh, totally unique idea. All right, it was basically you carry a baby across a beautiful, breathtaking 3D environment.
This looks more of it reminds me of Death Stranding mechanic.
Streamed its creation, created the art from scratch, added physics. By the way, look at that cute little baby. I was enamored by this idea. It felt truly unique. The moment I shared the screenshot on Twitter, though, people immediately began comparing it to, can you guess? Death Stranding, obviously.
Yeah, it looks like a copy of Death Stranding. I'm sorry, and yeah, it's maybe even if he did made the thing himself, or think about it himself, you would be shocked how many people did it before you.
Some people, if I recall, were pretty nasty about this, saying it was, well, basically Death Stranding, but worse. So guess what I did? I completely changed it. I needed to make something completely unique.
You need to take criticism more seriously. Don't be, no, it's different than Death Stranding. It's actually the art is different. Actually, no, it's more funny and have more. If the initial response of people was, if this looks like another game of this game, but just shittier, this means that many people will have this opinion, which means your game might suck. So It's okay if it's just you just started production, just put that project in the trash and start a new project. It's totally okay. You can do that before it's too late to do it, and before it becomes a 1 or 2 year loss of time.
Remember? That's the only way to make it big on Steam. I mean, look at Cult of the Lamb. That's completely unique. Well, kinda, not really. It was actually Binding of Isaac and a little bit of Stardew Valley. Well, what about Undertale? Okay, Undertale, that's brand spanking new, baby, right? Well, kinda. It's very similar to Moon Remix RPG Adventure and Earthbound, but whatever, I'm sure those are just flukes. You still need to be
People don't understand that. You don't need to make something too unique. My first game is a platformer, which made decently on Steam. It was just my first horror game, I'm sorry. It was just a 2D platformer with Crash Bandicoot level design principles and an old boss fight style in old video games. And that's it. My new game, Robotic Hell, which we are working on currently, it's just Doom Eternal with a better narrative design, which means it's a story-rich game, and it's an FPS. Just looks the game mechanics just look like games like Doom Eternal and stuff like that. Ultra Kill looks just like Doom Eternal, but it's not about making something that never happened in human. It's not about making something that never happened in humanity. It's just about making something that people enjoy.
brand new. Okay, that's the rule. It's 2025.
Uniqueness does not mean enjoyment.
It's way too competitive out there. You have to be brand new. That's what I was telling myself. So this brand new mechanic that I started working on was, well, you basically place magnetiles. Have you ever played with magnetiles? My kids play with them all the time. You sort of place them all over the place in this 3D environment. This felt kind of unique.
Put the project in the trash. This looks like Fortnite Death Stranding. And by the way, when he did remove it and put it in the trash, he made an amazing video game right now that I'm really looking forward to, which is Twisted Towers. It's an amazing game. Looks like a very amazing game to do. More than this, of course. Of course, Twisted Towers has more potential than this game.
What? Because I built a brand new mechanic on top of a third-person controller that was honestly built for a completely different genre, the game's codebase became bloated. It was a mess. It felt like I was building two completely different games on top of one another. I was overwhelmed, and then, like clockwork, I realized I was basically just making Minecraft, but worse. We can't just make Minecraft, but worse, Thomas. I have to make something new. It has to be new. So what did I do? I introduced a skydiving mechanic. Of course, duh. I felt like I was a genius, a brilliant genius.
It's skydiving in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with Death Stranding and Minecraft to Fortnite mechanics.
Coming up with a brand new skydiving. Crap. Feather. Superflight. Skyward Sword.
Yeah. These are better examples than mine, of course. But the problem is, it's not idiotic to make these mistakes. Even very professional game designers do it. But it's just, to be honest, the lack of game design principles. Thomas knows how to make games, by the way. He know art, he know coding, he know some of game design. But the problem is that make stuff like this happens is actually because most of people, just like Thomas, are very experienced in like coding and art and stuff like that, and maybe direction and management, but they did not study game design as much, because designing a game is different than coding it or making it look cool by art. It's actually one of the core things that you need to do. And pre-production, of course, makes you don't do such a mistake. But sometimes people say, I'm too experienced, or I do not need it, or many people don't do pre-production. So, but if he wrote a GDD, he would never do that, because he would need to stick to his plan, or just remove the project and start a new one, which of course he did in the future, as we know. But yeah, it's an amazing experience, of course. Thanks for Thomas for sharing it, so we can learn from his mistakes.
I gave up. I completely scrapped everything. After months of working
That
on
was
my
the right
next
move.
big, completely unique game, I jumped into creating a totally different game. A first-person shooter. This game, this is what I told myself, this game was going to be unique. But again, like clockwork, I cycled through ideas, one after the other, trying desperately to come up with some
But see, this, yes, it is not the right idea, but he did the mechanics. Now he can take the same mechanics and the direction of this game, build it on another game idea, which is Twisted Towers, reuse the code, remodify them to fit the game, and now he has less production time. So always keep your systems scalable and production quality. And if you were like working for a game jam or something, so you can reuse them in future big projects.
groundbreaking, truly unique gameplay mechanic. See, this game, it started as a game where enemies are basically demons from the Book of Enoch. I'm really fascinated by the Book of Enoch. That game was called Father. And then it shifted to a game where you had paths of a mansion that randomly shifted around. That game was called Happy Hotel. And then I changed the idea more to a game where you yourself can haunt a mansion. And for some reason that was called Infinite Tower. I think you get the idea, right? Yeah. I ultimately found myself, what do they call it?
Twisted Towers.
Floundering. Spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours, scrambling, trying to find the perfect, unique game idea. In the end, I was shocked to find that, well, you don't need to make something new. You need to make something, wait for it, you need to make something good. Let me explain.
Of course.
And this blew my mind. I know
something solid, good, whatever you want to describe it. You just don't need to make the new era of game development because this thing make many people fail. Yes, some people could earn a crazy amount of money and fame, but many people fail it and never come back to game development again. So it's a great risk to do such thing. So yeah.
I know it sounds simple, but this really did blow my mind. And I hope it changes the entire way of thinking about your first indie game. After floundering for years, I ultimately just, honestly, I gave up and I made what I wanted to make. I ultimately made a standard FPS inspired by BioShock, but in a Disney World environment. That's it. It's called Twisted Tower, and boy oh boy is that name fitting. It was a twisted, convoluted journey figuring out what this...
And by the way, one of the most things, that's why I tell you guys, focus on narrative design. Remove narrative design from Twisted Towers. It's just an FPS shooter. As you see, it's just shooting. But narrative design made all of these cool areas, all of these cool weapons, all of these cool stuff in the enemies and stuff like that. So always think of narrative design. Please, many people neglect narrative design, but 40 to 30% of the game design will be based on narrative design. I know many people don't like it. It's a hard experience. Many people are not experiencing with making a story. It's complicated. It's hard. It's frustrating. You probably don't know anything about it. Not just like coding and art, but you need to learn it. It's an important skill, and don't just write a story. No. There is principles of writing a story. You need to go to learn them and then do it for your game. Because, of course, writing a story for a scenario of a cinema or for a video game is very different from just writing a story like a Song of Ice and Fire. So you need to learn how to make a good story, then need to learn how to make a story for a video game. And
this game even was. The game is not super unique. The gunplay doesn't have some unique twist or spin. Not really. I mean, the visuals are kind of twisty, but that's about it. Instead, the game heavily focuses on what I, as the art director, as the project lead, what I do best. It tells a great story, it has a great atmosphere, and it's spooky. That's about it. I released the demo in February during Next Fest, and I'll be honest, I was expecting a bored, sort of gray, irritated response. I expected people to basically say, this is a BioShock ripoff and it sucks. That's what I was expecting.
No,
instead, I received the...
it looks like an amazing game. People will not say, oh, yeah, but I've seen this mechanic in thousands of games. Yeah, we know. It's collective knowledge. Every industry in the world use collective knowledge. We as a human cannot evolve without collective knowledge. You do not need to invent the wheel anytime you want to make a new video game. Just take references. It's okay. People just want something fun to try. That's it.
Opposite. See, people, they wanted to play BioShock again, even if that meant it was a distilled down, dumbed down indie version. As long as it had that BioShock flair and it was decently fun and had a unique story and setting, players were happy. Now the game has almost 100,000 wishlists. The demo has over 1,000 very positive reviews on Steam. And I'd say it's a solid title for not being very unique or groundbreaking. Okay, so what does...
It's, in my opinion, the best project ever that Thomas have ever done, in my opinion. And it has even more potential that even Thomas thinks of. That's the thing that he may be trying to not put as much as thinking of the optimistic potential of the game, because he do not want keep your expectation low so you never be disappointed. But it has a great potential, by the way, Thomas. You can even make it better. So if you are still in production, not post-production phase, try more. Try more. You can make this a very big success in the indie game industry.
What does this mean for you as you embark on creating your groundbreaking, fresh, new indie game? Well, don't aim to create something fresh or new. Instead, make something good. So how do you do that, right? It's easier said than done. Here are three quick tips that will help you do that. Number one, make a game in a genre that you're head over heels for. Because if you love it, you probably know it very, very well.
Of course, you need to do your research if you don't love it. You need to know every single details and maybe try 5 to 7 games, even if you played them before, or even if you played something similar before, just for research purposes.
And you can replicate it and please an audience that also likes that genre. Don't pick some stupid random genre that's popular. Pick the one that's popular for you, right? Because you know it. Number two, make a game that focuses heavily on what you do best. This is called your forte. For example, if you're a 2D artist, focus heavily on that, okay? If you're a brilliant storyteller...
Again, as we said before, if you focus on your strong points, your weak points will be neglected. If you have the best art and narrative design ever, even if your gameplay is weak, people will say, if they want to make a criticism, a constructive criticism, this game have a very nice art, music, or narrative design, but I think it could have add more on gameplay. And because it's an indie game and not published by Ubisoft, people will not judge you much about it, and many people will like the game. So play on your strong points, not trying to cover as much as you can of your weak points. Do not worry about covering your weak points. Do your strong points the best. And that's the best way to cover your weak points.
Focus on that. This is called your 20%. So the thing that you do that comes easy and it tends to be, well, explosive for you, it tends to get a lot of results, that's your 20%. It's your forte. Focus on that. And finally, number three,
that's a
this
very
is
nice
important.
way to describe it.
Be sure that what you're creating is actually good, okay? And you might be wondering, well, how do I know that until I release my game?
Good GDD, good playtesting, playtesting from different people and maybe not relatives. Maybe publish a demo and submit it to publishers and make a small community that could help you making this game really good. And take criticism, do not just neglect it.
Well, here's a secret. You can release it to a private audience. And that's called alpha testing, beta testing, okay? Test it with your family, with your friends, and look, if they don't like it, fix what they don't like. It's really, really simple. Yeah. If they find something frustrating...
Don't be defensive against criticism.
Fix that thing. It's pretty straightforward. But if they do like it, hey... Congratulations, you've got a solid game in a genre that you understand, and it focuses on your forte, meaning, well, all three of those things are actually going to make the game.
All you need is a bit of a good marketing, and there you go.
stand out. See, the thing is, standing out is as simple as just making a solid game that hits all the genre tropes. Why? Because most indies don't even do that.
Yeah.
Sure, there's thousands of indie games released each year, but most of them aren't even halfway solid.
And most of them that do that, they do not even look like an indie game because they played really well.
Your job is to be solid. Your job is to focus on what you do well.
Because let's say the truth, if Thomas Brush just made another studio and called it blah blah production and published Twisted Towers, not many people will know it's an indie game. Many people will see it as a AA title. So yeah, as you see, the same for Choo Choo Charles and stuff like that.
Stay within the confines of that genre and do it well. Test it with an audience, and you're good. You don't have to be new or groundbreaking or fresh and unique. You just got to be solid. Don't try and be new. It's okay.
And again, an amazing video by Thomas Brush. Definitely go and check it out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.